The stars looked different from the bridge of the Carafian warship. Commander Zach Star stood with his 4 arms clasped behind his back, his scaled skin reflecting the light of a dying sun. This would be conquest number 47 for him. The Admiral had never known defeat. "Status report," Zach Star ordered, his voice deep and rough. "The Nebulon system has fallen," Commander said, his second in command. "Their defense fleet is destroyed. Their colonies have surrendered." Zach Star nodded. The Nebulons were known for their science and art, not for fighting. It had been too easy. He was growing bored with simple victories. "What is our next target?" he asked. A star map appeared on the main screen. A small blue planet highlighted in red caught his attention. "Earth," his officer said, "home to a species called humans. They have only recently reached space travel. Their technology is primitive compared to ours." Zach Star smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Prepare the fleet. We move at dawn." Captain John Russell woke to the sound of his alarm. Another day aboard the USC Defiant, Earth's newest warship. At 42, John had seen his share of space. His dark hair was starting to gray at the temples, and lines framed his eyes. But those eyes still held the same determination they always had. He dressed quickly and made his way to the bridge. The crew stood at attention as he entered. "At ease," he said. "Status report." Lieutenant Samantha Collins, his tactical officer, stepped forward. Sam was in her early 30s with short blonde hair and a serious face. She handed him a tablet. "Sir, we've received strange signals from Colony Epsilon. They stopped sending updates 12 hours ago." John frowned. "Any other colonies reporting issues?" "Not yet, sir," said Communications Officer Matthew Peterson. Matt was young, barely 25, but he was the best at his job. "But there's something strange about the last message from Epsilon. It mentioned lights in the sky before cutting out." John tapped his fingers on the tablet. "Prepare the ship. We're going to check it out." "Captain," Sam said quietly, "Command wants us to wait for orders." John shook his head. "If something's wrong, every minute counts. We can ask forgiveness later." In the United Space Command headquarters on Earth, Admiral Patricia Wright stared at the large screen showing the movement of ships throughout human space. A red blip had appeared at the edge of their territory. "What is that?" she asked. The technician shook his head. "Unknown, ma'am. It's not broadcasting any identification. And it's big." General Frank Miller joined them, his face grim. "How big?" "Bigger than anything we've ever built," the technician said. "And it's not alone. We're detecting at least 20 similar objects." Patricia and Frank exchanged worried looks. "Get me the president," Patricia said, "and contact all colonies. Tell them to be on high alert." As the Defiant prepared to jump to Colony Epsilon, Chief Engineer Kevin Adams worked in the engine room. The ship hummed with power as he checked the systems. "Everything good down there, Kevin?" John's voice came through the speaker. Kevin wiped sweat from his forehead. "All systems go, Captain, but I still think these new engines need more testing." "No time for that now," John replied. "We need to move fast." In her lab, Dr. Laura Wilson was packing equipment. She hadn't expected to use her research in the field so soon. The quantum shield project was still experimental. "Dr. Wilson, report to the bridge," came the announcement. Laura sighed and closed her case. When she arrived on the bridge, she found the captain looking serious. "Doctor," John said, "I hear you've been working on something that could help us if we run into trouble." "It's not ready," she protested. "The quantum shield is just a theory." "Well," John said as he turned to look out at the stars, "we might need to test that theory sooner than we thought." Science Officer Ethan Clark joined them, his face pale. "Captain, I've analyzed the last transmission from Epsilon. There's something embedded in it, a warning. It says, 'They're coming. Run.'" The bridge fell silent. John took a deep breath and sat in his command chair. "Jump drive ready," Sam reported. John nodded. Take us to Epsilon. The stars outside the window blurred as the Defiant leaped into the unknown, unaware that they were heading straight toward humanity's greatest threat. The Defiant emerged from jump space with a shudder. The view on the main screen made everyone on the bridge freeze. Where Colony Epsilon once stood, there was now only floating debris and dust. "My God," John whispered. The colony had been home to 20,000 people. Now nothing remained. Sam's voice shook as she reported, "No life signs detected, Captain. The colony is gone." John gripped the arms of his chair. "Scan for survivors. Maybe some got away in escape pods." Ethan worked at his station, his face pale. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy readings. Nothing like our weapons could have done this." "Matt, any communications? Distress signals?" John asked. Matt adjusted his headset. "Nothing from Epsilon, sir. But I'm picking up fragments from other colonies. Garbled transmissions, but they sound like warnings." He paused, listening intently. "Colony Beta is saying something about ships. Huge ships with weapons they've never seen before." Laura stepped forward. "Captain, look at the debris pattern. This wasn't just an attack. The entire colony was methodically taken apart." John stood up. "Kevin, are the sensors working properly?" "Yes, sir," Kevin replied over the comm. "And I'm seeing something else. There's a trail of that strange energy leading away from the colony, toward the Gamma sector." John made a quick decision. Follow it, but approach with caution. As the Defiant moved through the wreckage, Sam suddenly called out, "Captain, I'm detecting a small ship hiding behind that larger piece of debris. It's not one of ours." "Defensive positions," John ordered. "Matt, try to communicate with them." After several attempts, Matt shook his head. "No response, but they're not running either. They might be damaged." "I'm detecting a life form aboard," Ethan said. "Just one. Not human, though." John considered his options. "Sam, lock on with a tractor beam. We're bringing it in." In the medical bay, an alien lay on the bed. It looked almost like a large cat with 6 limbs and blue-gray skin. Its breathing was labored. Dr. Greg Howard, the ship's medical officer, looked up as John entered. "Captain, this being is badly injured. I've done what I can, but its biology is unfamiliar." The alien opened its large eyes. You are humans," it said in a halting voice. John stepped closer. "Yes, I'm Captain John Russell of the USC Defiant. Can you tell us what happened?" "Coruffians," the alien whispered. "They came without warning. Destroyed everything. I am Lur of the Proxima people. We were visiting Epsilon for trade." The alien coughed. "They will come for you next. They always do." "Who are these Coruffians? Why are they attacking us?" John asked. "They conquer. It is what they do. For centuries, they have moved through the galaxy, taking world after world. None resist them for long. Lur tried to sit up. Your weapons will not work against them. They have shields that." A sudden alarm cut off the conversation. Sam's voice came over the comm. "Captain to the bridge immediately." When John arrived, the mood was tense. 3 ships just appeared on long-range scanners, Sam reported. They match no known designs, and they're huge. Each one is at least 5 times the size of the Defiant. The image on the screen showed 3 massive vessels, shaped like arrowheads with strange glowing sections. "They're on an intercept course," Matt added, "and they're moving fast." John turned to Laura. "Doctor, how soon can your quantum shield be operational?" Laura shook her head. "It's not ready. We need more time, Toe." "We don't have more time," John interrupted. "Kevin, can you help Dr. Wilson set up her equipment?" "I'll try, Captain," Kevin replied. Ethan looked up from his console. "Sir, those ships are broadcasting some kind of message. It's not in any language we know." "Run it through the computer," John ordered. "Try to translate it." The translation came through moments later. chilling everyone on the bridge. Humans of Earth vessel, you have entered Carafian territory. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. You have 5 minutes to comply. John looked at his crew. They were the only human ship in the sector, facing an enemy that had just destroyed an entire colony. Options, he asked. Sam checked her tactical display. We're outgunned, Captain. Severely. If we run, they'll follow us straight to the nearest colony, Ethan pointed out. John nodded. Matt, open a channel to Earth Command. They need to know what we found. He paused, making the hardest decision of his career. Plot a course away from Earth colonies. We're going to make them follow us while our warning gets through. And if we can't outrun them? Sam asked quietly. John looked at the approaching ships. Then we'll be the first to show these Carafians that humans don't surrender easily. The Defiant raced through space, pushing its engines beyond safe limits. Behind them, the 3 Carafian ships followed, gaining slowly but steadily. Engine status, John asked, gripping his chair as the ship shook. Kevin's tired voice came through the comm. Not good, Captain. We can maintain this speed for maybe another hour. After that, we risk a core breach. John turned to Matt. Did our message get through to Earth? Matt nodded. Yes, sir. We received confirmation before the Carafians started jamming our long-range communications. At least Earth will be warned, John said. He looked at the tactical display. Sam, how long until they're in weapons range? 40 minutes at current speed, she replied. Laura entered the bridge, looking exhausted. Captain, I've been working with Kevin on the quantum shield idea. We might have something, but it's risky. At this point, I'll take any risk over certain defeat, John said. What do you have? The quantum shield works on a completely different principle than traditional shields, Laura explained. Instead of trying to block energy, it shifts it slightly out of phase with our reality. In theory, it could make enemy weapons pass right through us. In theory, John repeated. And in practice. Laura grimaced. We won't know until we try it. And there's a problem. The power requirements are enormous. We'd have to divert energy from almost every system, including engines. So we'd be sitting ducks, Sam said. Yes, but hopefully ducks that can't be hit, Laura replied. John considered their options. How long would it take to set up? With Kevin's help, about 30 minutes, Laura said. John made his decision. Do it. Sam, find us somewhere to make a stand, preferably with some cover. Sam studied her charts. There's an asteroid field in Sector 47C. We could reach it before they catch us. Set course, John ordered, and everyone prepare for a fight. On Earth, Admiral Wright and General Miller stood in the command center, watching the incoming message from the Defiant. This is Captain John Russell of the USC Defiant. John's face was grim on the screen. We have encountered a hostile alien race called the Carafians. They have destroyed Colony Epsilon and are threatening all human settlements. They possess technology far beyond our current capabilities. We are currently being pursued by 3 of their warships. We will attempt to delay them while Earth prepares its defenses. Defiant out. The room was silent for a long moment. Options. The president asked from the head of the table. General Miller spoke first. We evacuate the outer colonies and concentrate our fleet to defend Earth. That would mean abandoning millions of colonists, Admiral Wright argued. We can't just leave them to die. Better millions than billions, Miller countered. If Earth falls, humanity falls. Admiral Wright shook her head. The Defiant is our most advanced ship, and they're running. What chance do the rest of our fleet have? The president looked between them. Is there no other option? A quiet voice spoke up from the back of the room. There might be one. Everyone turned to see a slender man in civilian clothes. Who are you? The president asked. Dr. Alan Bennett, the man replied. I work with Dr. Laura Wilson on the Quantum Shield project. She's aboard the Defiant. Go on, the president encouraged. The quantum shield is experimental, but it might be our only chance against superior technology, Dr. Bennett explained. If we could somehow upgrade the Defiant with the latest version of our research. You mean send our most valuable research to a ship that's about to be destroyed? General Miller asked incredulously. I mean give our only ship in the field a fighting chance, Dr. Bennett replied. And maybe learn something about our enemy in the process. The president nodded slowly. How would we get this research to the Defiant? Admiral Wright stepped forward. We have a fast courier ship. If the Defiant can shake its pursuers long enough to rendezvous. It's too risky, General Miller objected. We're facing extinction, General, the president said firmly. Risk is all we have left. She turned to Admiral Wright. Make it happen. And send word to all colonies to begin defensive preparations. Back on the Defiant, the crew worked frantically to prepare for battle. Kevin and Laura were deep in the engine room, rerouting power systems. Sam was running battle simulations. Ethan was studying what little data they had on the Carafian ships. John sat in his quarters for a brief moment of quiet, looking at a photo of Earth. His home, along with billions of others. He would not let it fall without a fight. His comm beeped. Captain, Matt's excited voice came through. We're receiving a coded message from Earth Command. They're sending help. The Defiant reached the asteroid field just as the Carafian ships closed in. John ordered the ship to weave between the larger rocks, using them as cover. Captain, Earth Command's message says they're sending a courier ship with updated shield research, Matt reported. Rendezvous coordinates are being transmitted now. John studied the location. That's 6 hours from here. We need to lose our pursuers first. Sam looked up from her station. Sir, I have an idea. The asteroids in this field contain high amounts of iron and nickel. If we detonate some mining charges, the magnetic interference could mask our signature. Do we have mining charges? John asked. 3 in Cargo Bay 2, Ethan confirmed. They were meant for Colony Gamma. Make it happen, John ordered. While Sam and Ethan prepared the charges, Laura and Kevin continued their work on the quantum shield. Laura noticed something strange as she reviewed the data from their brief encounter with the Carafian ships. Kevin, look at this, she said, pointing to a readout. When their scanning beam hit our hull, there was an unusual reaction in our power systems. Kevin studied the data. It's like our systems tried to match their frequency but couldn't quite get there. Laura's eyes widened. That's it. What if our technology and theirs operate on slightly different quantum principles? That could be why their weapons are so effective against other races. And how would that help us? Kevin asked. If human technology naturally exists in a slightly different quantum state than Carafian tech, Laura explained, we might be able to enhance that difference with the shield. Kevin caught on quickly. Instead of trying to shift everything out of phase, we just amplify the natural difference that already exists. Laura nodded excitedly. Exactly. And that would require much less power. They immediately got to work on the new approach. On the bridge, John felt the ship shake as the mining charges exploded behind them. Full thrust through the debris cloud, he ordered. Then cut engines and power down all non-essential systems. The Defiant shot forward, then went dark as it drifted among the asteroids. On the view screen, they watched as the Carafian ships slowed, clearly confused by the sudden disappearance of their prey. They're scanning the field, Matt reported, but the magnetic interference is working. They can't get a clear reading. How long until they figure it out? John asked. Hard to say, Sam replied. But I wouldn't count on more than a couple of hours. John nodded. That should give Laura and Kevin time to work. And maybe we can make it to that rendezvous. Ethan had been quiet, studying the enemy ships. Captain, I've been analyzing their behavior. Notice how they always maintain the same formation. 3 points of a triangle, even when maneuvering. John observed the pattern. You're right. What do you make of it? I think their ships might be linked somehow, Ethan said. Maybe they share power or computing resources. If that's the case, separating them could be an advantage. John considered this. Good work, Ethan. Sam, add that to our tactical options. In the medical bay, Lur, the alien, was recovering. Dr. Howard called John down to speak with their guest. The Carafians have a weakness, Lur said as soon as John entered. No race has been able to exploit it yet, but you humans might. What weakness? John asked. Their ships are connected through a quantum network. It gives them strength, but also vulnerability. If one ship's network is disrupted, all ships in the fleet feel the effect. John thought of Ethan's observation. How would we disrupt their network? I do not know the technology, Lear admitted, but my people observe that their network fluctuates when they fire their main weapons. There is a moment of instability. John thanked Lear and hurried back to engineering with this new information. Commander Zach Thar was growing impatient. The human ship had vanished in the asteroid field, and his sensors couldn't locate it. Continue the search, he ordered. They cannot have gone far. His second-in-command approached cautiously. Commander, this is unusual behavior for a prey species. Typically, they run straight back to their homeworld. Zaxvar considered this. Yes, this is different. These humans do not behave as expected. Should we call for reinforcements? The officer suggested. No, Zaxvar said firmly. I will not appear weak over one small ship. Find them. Unknown to the commander, his prey was about to become a predator. Hidden among the asteroids, the Defiant was changing, becoming something the Carafians had never faced before. Kevin's voice came over the ship's comm. Captain, we've done it. The modified quantum shield is ready for testing. As John gave the order to prepare for power-up, Laura made one final adjustment. This is either going to make us invisible to their weapons, she said, or it's going to blow us all up. Kevin gave her a tired smile. Let's hope for option one. The Defiant drifted silently between two massive asteroids. Inside, the crew held their breath as John gave the order. Activate the quantum shield. Laura pressed the sequence of buttons she and Kevin had programmed. The ship hummed as power flowed through new pathways. The lights dimmed briefly, then returned to normal. Shield is active, Laura reported. Power drain is within acceptable limits. Now we find out if it works, John said. Sam, prepare for evasive maneuvers. Matt, passive sensors only. Let's see if they can detect us. They watched as one of the Carafian ships passed nearby, its scanning beams sweeping through the asteroid field. They're looking right at us, Ethan whispered. The Carafian ship paused, then continued its search pattern, moving away from the Defiant. It worked, Sam said, amazed. They can't see us. John allowed himself a small smile. Not bad for an experimental shield. Now let's see if we can reach that rendezvous point. The Defiant powered up its engines at minimal thrust, slipping quietly away from the asteroid field. For 2 hours, they moved undetected toward the coordinates Earth had sent. Contact, Matt suddenly announced. Small ship approaching at high speed. It's the courier from Earth. Open a secure channel, John ordered. A young lieutenant appeared on screen. Captain Russell. Lieutenant Dan Harris, Earth Command Courier. I have a package for Dr. Wilson. Bring your ship alongside, John instructed. We'll use the emergency airlock for transfer. Make it quick. The small courier ship docked briefly. A sealed container was passed through the airlock. Minutes later, the courier departed, racing back toward Earth. Laura opened the container in the lab. Inside was a data crystal and a note from Dr. Bennett. Laura, we simplified the quantum equations. This should stabilize the field and reduce power consumption by 60%. Good luck. With Ethan's help, Laura integrated the new data into their shield system. The results were immediate. Captain, shield efficiency has increased dramatically, she reported. And I have an idea about how we might use this offensively. Let's hear it, John said. If we can tune the shield to match the frequency of the Carafian quantum network during their moment of instability, we might be able to disrupt all 3 ships at once. John considered this. You mean when they fire their main weapons? Laura nodded. According to Lur, that's when they're vulnerable. So we need to make them shoot at us, Sam said. Great. Not at us, John corrected. Near us. If the shield works, their weapons shouldn't touch us. That's a big if, Captain, Kevin cautioned. It's the only advantage we have, John replied. Let's use it. Commander Zach Star was about to order his ships to expand their search when one of his officers called out. Commander, the human ship has reappeared. It's leaving the asteroid field. Zach Star smiled. Pursue and destroy. The 3 Carafian warships moved into attack formation, rapidly closing the distance to the Defiant. They are not attempting to flee at maximum speed, his second-in-command noted. Unusual. Perhaps their engines are damaged, Zaxthar suggested, or they have accepted their fate. The truth was far different. On the Defiant, John had ordered the ship to maintain a speed that would draw the Carafians in, but not so slow that they would suspect a trap. They're in pursuit, Sam reported. All 3 ships maintaining their triangular formation. Good, John said. Head for these coordinates. He sent a location to her station. It's a small debris field from an old mining operation. We'll make our stand there. As they approached the debris field, John called the crew to battle stations. This is it, everyone, he said over the ship-wide comm. Earth is counting on us to learn how to fight these Carafians. No matter what happens in the next hour, remember that what we do here may save billions of lives. The Defiant took position among the debris, then turned to face the approaching enemy. Shield status, John asked. Operating at peak efficiency, Laura replied from her station. Ready to attempt network disruption on your mark. Weapons? John asked. Armed and ready, Sam confirmed, though I'm not sure what good they'll do against those ships. We're about to find out, John said, as the Carafian vessels came into view. All hands, brace for combat. Sam, target the lead ship and fire a warning shot across their bow. The Defiant's main cannon fired, the energy beam passing harmlessly in front of the lead Carafian ship. On his bridge, Zaxthar laughed. They think to challenge us. Prepare main weapons. Let us show these humans the power of the Carafian Empire. All 3 Carafian ships began to glow as they charged their devastating weapons. Here they come, John said quietly. Laura, stand by. The Carafian ships fired simultaneously, 3 massive energy beams converging on the Defiant. Now, John shouted. Laura activated the quantum disruption field as the Carafian energy beams raced toward the Defiant. The ship shuddered and the lights flickered. Everyone braced for impact. But the devastating beams never hit. Instead, they seemed to pass through the Defiant as if it wasn't there. At the same moment, the modified shield sent a pulse back along the energy beams, targeting the frequency of the Carafian quantum network. On the bridge of the lead Carafian ship, alarms blared. Commander Zaxthar watched in disbelief as his control panels flickered and died. What is happening? He demanded. Unknown, Commander, his second replied. Frantically working to restore systems. All ships are experiencing network failure. Weapons offline. Shields weakening. Zaxthar slammed his fist on his command chair. Impossible. How can one primitive ship do this? Back on the Defiant, the crew could hardly believe what they were seeing. It worked, Laura said, staring at her readings. All 3 Carafian ships are experiencing system failures. Their shields are down to 30%, Sam reported. And their weapons are offline. John didn't waste the opportunity. Fire all weapons. Target their propulsion systems. The Defiant unleashed everything it had. Beams of energy struck the confused Carafian vessels, which could no longer maintain their perfect formation. Direct hits on all targets, Sam announced. Their engines are damaged. Matt, open a channel to the lead ship, John ordered. Matt worked his controls. Channel open. Sir. John stood tall. This is Captain John Russell of the USC Defiant. You have attacked human colonies without provocation. Withdraw now, or face destruction. There was silence for a moment before a reply came. The screen showed a tall, scaled alien with 4 arms and sharp teeth. "I am Commander Zax Thar of the Karafian Empire. You surprise me, human. No species has ever damaged our ships before." "There's a first time for everything," John replied. "Will you withdraw?" Zax Thar's eyes narrowed. "This battle is not over. You have merely delayed the inevitable." The communication cut off. The 3 Karafian ships began to move away slowly, their engines struggling. "They're retreating," Sam said, sounding surprised. "For now," John cautioned. "But they'll be back with reinforcements." "Laura, how long will our advantage last?" Laura looked troubled. "I don't know. They'll likely adapt to our disruption frequency. We might get one more chance to use it, at most." Kevin's voice came over the comm. "Captain, we have problems down here. The power surge from the shield has damaged several key systems. We need repairs soon." John nodded. "Plot a course to the nearest human outpost. We need to warn them and prepare for the next encounter." In his private quarters, John recorded a message for Earth Command. The victory had come at a cost. His crew was exhausted. The ship was damaged, and he knew the Karafians would return stronger than before. A knock at his door interrupted his thoughts. Sam entered, looking as tired as he felt. "The crew is wondering what happens next," she said. John sighed. "Honestly, I'm not sure. We found a weakness in their technology, but it won't work forever. Some of the crew think we should run," Sam admitted. "Head back to Earth, help organize the defense there, and leave the outer colonies to fend for themselves." John shook his head. "We can't do that." "So we fight," Sam said. It wasn't a question. John nodded. "We fight. But smarter, not harder. We need to understand more about these Karafians." Commander Zax Thar stood in the communication room of his damaged flagship. For the first time in his long career, he was reporting a defeat to the Karafian High Command. "The humans have technology that interferes with our quantum network," he explained. "We will adapt, of course, but this species is unusual." The Supreme Commander's image flickered on the screen. "You allowed 1 ship to damage 3 of our vessels. This is unacceptable, Zax Thar." "I understand, Supreme One. I request reinforcements to crush this resistance before they can share their technology with others." The Supreme Commander was silent for a moment. "No, you will not receive reinforcements. You will rectify your failure with the ships you have. Prove that this human victory was merely luck, not skill." After the communication ended, Zax Thar stood alone. For the first time, he felt something unfamiliar: doubt. The humans had surprised him. This Captain Russell had shown cunning and courage. "Interesting," he murmured to himself. "Perhaps these humans deserve more attention than I first thought." He summoned his officers to begin repairs. The next encounter would be different. He would be ready. 3 days had passed since the Defiant's victory over the Karafian ships. The human warship had reached Outpost Sigma, a small military station orbiting a gas giant in the outer colonies. Repairs were underway, but time was running out. John stood in the station's command center, looking at the long-range scanner data. 6 Karafian ships were heading their way. "They've adapted faster than we expected," Laura said, standing beside him. "Our quantum disruption won't work the same way again." John nodded. "Then we need something new." He called the senior crew together for what might be their final strategy meeting. Sam, Matt, Kevin, Laura, and Ethan gathered around a holographic display of the region. "The Karafians will reach us in 10 hours, John began. "Their force is twice as large as before, and they'll be ready for our tricks." "Can we run?" Matt asked. John shook his head. "Not this time. Outpost Sigma can't be evacuated quickly enough. If we leave, they'll destroy it and everyone on it." Kevin looked troubled. "The Defiant's repairs aren't complete. We're at 70% power at best." "Then we need a plan that doesn't rely on power," John said. He turned to Laura. Any ideas? Laura had been quiet, studying the data from their previous encounter. Maybe. The Carafians still maintain that formation, even with 6 ships. They've likely strengthened their quantum network against outside disruption. So we can't break in, Sam said. No, Laura agreed. But what if we don't need to break in? What if we use their own network against them? Ethan caught on quickly, like a feedback loop. Laura nodded. Exactly. If we can get a transmitter close enough to their command ship, we might be able to send a signal through their network that amplifies until it overloads. A transmitter? John asked. You mean like a probe? A probe would be detected and destroyed, Laura said. She hesitated before continuing. I need to deliver it personally, in a shuttle. The room fell silent. That's suicide, Kevin protested. Not necessarily, Laura countered. The shuttle would be small enough to approach without seeming like a major threat. I can modify it to appear damaged, like debris from a battle. John didn't like it. There must be another way. There isn't, Laura said firmly. And you know it. This is our only chance to save everyone on this outpost and buy Earth more time. After much debate, John reluctantly agreed to Laura's plan. The next few hours were spent preparing a shuttle and the special transmitter she would use. As Laura made her final preparations, John came to see her in the shuttle bay. I should be the one doing this, he said. No, Captain. The crew needs you, Laura replied. Besides, I'm the only one who knows exactly how to calibrate the transmitter to their network. John nodded, knowing she was right. The shuttle's autopilot is programmed to bring you back once the transmitter is activated. Laura smiled sadly. We both know I probably won't make it back. Try anyway, John said. That's an order, Doctor. On the bridge of his flagship, Commander Zach Thar reviewed the battle plan. This time, there would be no mistakes. The human ship is at the outpost, his second reported. Our scans show it is damaged. Good, Zaxthar said. This Captain Russell fought well, but no one defeats the Carafian Empire twice. One of his officers spoke up. Commander, we're detecting a small object leaving the station. It appears to be a damaged shuttle. Ignore it, Zaxthar ordered. Focus on the warship. All vessels, prepare to fire on my command. Laura piloted the shuttle toward the Carafian formation. She had made it look like it was drifting with minimal power. Just another piece of debris. Her heart pounded as she approached the massive flagship. Back on the Defiant, John watched the small blip that represented Laura's shuttle. She's almost in position. All hands, battle stations, be ready to fire everything we have the moment her transmitter activates. Sam looked at her tactical display. Even with the transmitter, we're still outgunned 6-1. We don't need to win, John replied. We just need to survive long enough for Laura's plan to work. On the shuttle, Laura's hands shook as she made the final adjustments to the transmitter. She was now directly beneath the Carafian flagship, close enough to see the details of its alien design. She took a deep breath and pressed the activation sequence. For Earth, she whispered. The transmitter hummed to life, sending its signal directly into the heart of the Carafian quantum network. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The Carafian flagship shuddered as the transmitter's signal raced through its quantum network. Warning lights flashed across all 6 enemy ships as the feedback loop began. On the Defiant, Matt monitored the communications between the Carafian vessels. It's working. Their systems are going haywire. All weapons, fire now, John ordered. The Defiant unleashed everything it had, targeting the weakest points on the Carafian ships. The outpost's defenses joined in, sending missiles and energy beams toward the confused enemy fleet. Inside the flagship, Commander Zaxfar roared in anger as his control panels exploded around him. What is happening? Find the source. Something is attacking our network from inside our defensive perimeter. His second shouted over the alarms. It's coming from that shuttle. Destroy it. Zax, Far commanded. The flagship tried to target Laura's shuttle, but its weapons systems were barely functioning. A weak beam struck the small craft, sending it spinning away, damaged but not destroyed. Laura held on as her shuttle tumbled through space. The autopilot was gone, and life support was failing. But her transmitter was still working, still sending its chaotic signal into the heart of the Carafian network. Through the viewport, she watched as the massive alien ships began to turn on each other, their targeting systems confused by the feedback loop. On the Defiance bridge, Kevin reported, "Captain, I'm picking up Laura's life signs. Her shuttle is damaged, but she's alive." "Sam, can we reach her?" John asked urgently. Sam checked her tactical display. "Not without getting too close to the Carafian ships." John made a quick decision. "I'm taking a rescue pod. Kevin, you have the bridge." "Captain, that's too dangerous," Sam protested. "No arguments," John said firmly. "I'm not leaving her out there." As John raced to the launch bay, the battle outside intensified. Two of the Carafian ships had collided, their navigation systems compromised by Laura's transmitter. Another was firing randomly, its weapons striking its own allies. "The network collapse is spreading to all ships," Ethan reported. "They're losing all coordination." Matt suddenly straightened in his chair. Incoming transmission from the Carafian flagship. It's Commander Zach Thar. The alien commander's face appeared on screen, his ship visibly falling apart around him. "Who is responsible for this?" he demanded. Kevin, now in command, stepped forward. "This is Acting Captain Kevin Adams of the USC Defiant. You were warned to leave human space." Zach Thar's expression changed from anger to something like respect. "You humans are formidable opponents. I did not expect this." "Will you withdraw your forces?" Kevin asked. "Those ships that can still fly will retreat," Zach Thar acknowledged. "But know this, human. The Carafian Empire does not forgive defeat. We will return." The transmission cut off as another explosion rocked the flagship. Meanwhile, John had reached Laura's shuttle in the rescue pod. Her craft was barely intact, oxygen levels critical. He docked carefully and found her unconscious but alive. Gently, he carried her to the rescue pod and set course back to the Defiant. As they pulled away, the Carafian flagship's main power core went critical. The massive ship exploded in a blinding flash, taking two more of the damaged vessels with it. The remaining three Carafian ships, heavily damaged, began limping away from the battle. When John returned to the Defiant with Laura, cheers erupted throughout the ship. Medical teams rushed her to sickbay as John made his way back to the bridge. "Status report," he ordered as he took his seat. "3 enemy ships destroyed, 3 retreating," Sam reported with a smile. "Outpost Sigma is safe, and we've just received word from Earth. They've begun building more ships with our modified technology." Matt turned from his console. "Sir, the outpost is broadcasting our victory to all colonies. The Carafians aren't invincible after all." John nodded, looking at the view screen where the retreating enemy ships were growing smaller. "No, they're not. And now they know it too." In sickbay, Laura opened her eyes to see John sitting beside her bed. "Did it work?" she asked weakly. John smiled. "It worked perfectly. You saved everyone. And the Carafians? They'll be back someday," John said honestly. "But next time, we'll be ready. The whole of humanity knows it can fight back now." As the Defiant began its journey back to Earth, news of its victory spread from world to world. For the first time, the Carafian Empire had met an enemy they couldn't easily conquer. A single human warship had stood in their way and prevailed. And across the galaxy, other subjugated species began to whisper a new word that gave them hope: Defiant.